Every day, the sun rises. And every sunrise, whether we notice it or not, brings a promise, a quiet assurance that no matter what happened yesterday, today a new dawn awaits. In the still silence of the early morning, we find more than light. We find the ancient whisper of courage, renewal, and wisdom. Welcome to a journey through Stoic reflections on transformation and timeless bravery. This is your space for quiet strength, for the fire inside that refuses to die out, no matter how dark the night has been. Stoicism was born in ancient Greece, matured in the Roman Empire, and today it lives on in anyone who chooses inner strength over chaos. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled one of the greatest empires in history, also wrestled with personal doubts, loss, and war. He wasn't just a ruler, he was a philosopher with a journal in hand, scribbling thoughts not for the world, but for himself. Seneca, the advisor to Nero, urged people to focus on what they can control: their mind, their actions, their responses. In his letters, he reminded us that life is fleeting, and virtue is the only true wealth. Epictetus, once a slave, later a great teacher, reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He lost his physical freedom but never his mental sovereignty. In these voices of old, we find a blueprint, not for perfection, but for resilience. A map not out of suffering, but through it. Let's begin with one of Stoicism's most powerful ideas, the concept of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. At first glance, it might sound grim. But it is, in fact, one of the most liberating practices. The Stoics didn't believe in ignoring the bad. They believed in preparing for it, mentally and emotionally, so that when hardship arrived, as it inevitably would, they wouldn't be caught off guard. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." He taught that anxiety stems from surprise, and if we remove the element of surprise, we remove the sting. This doesn't mean being cynical. It means facing life head-on. Visualizing failure, loss, betrayal, change. Not to fear them, but to understand them. To say, if this happens, I will not break. This practice strengthens the spirit. You become like a tree rooted deep in the earth. Storms will come. Branches may snap. But your core remains. And that brings us to another gem of Stoic thought, Amor Fati. The love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, but embracing it. Seeing every challenge not as an obstacle, but as fuel for growth. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the fire of Stoicism. Not cold logic, but red-hot resilience. When you face setbacks, can you see them as necessary? When your plans fall apart, can you believe it's for the best? That's Amor Fati. That's transformation. There's a special kind of bravery that Stoicism teaches, not the kind we celebrate in stories of conquest, but the kind that unfolds in silence. It's the bravery of showing up, even when you're tired. The courage to tell the truth when a lie would be easier. The strength to let go when everything in you wants to hold on. Timeless bravery lives in the small moments, in the decisions that no one sees. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character." So when trouble comes, think of it as training, a way to become stronger. Imagine you are a blacksmith's blade, tested by fire, shaped by hammer, cooled by water. The trials you face are not punishments. They are craftsmanship. Character is forged, not found. It's molded through discomfort, through rejection, through uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He was a warrior, yes. But more than that, a witness to the gift of each day, no matter how hard. So what is timeless bravery? It's choosing what's right over what's easy. It's standing tall even when your legs tremble. It's being kind when you feel bitter. Each time you do what is virtuous instead of what is convenient, you awaken the Stoic within. You become part of the unbroken lineage of quiet warriors who didn't wait for life to be easy to start living well. Let us now turn inward, toward the sanctuary of the mind, where Stoicism offers its most profound promise, that freedom is not external, but internal. Epictetus taught that true freedom is found in the ability to choose our response to any circumstance. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In today's world of endless noise, screens, pressure, distractions, this message is more urgent than ever. If you want clarity, you must train your focus. If you want peace, you must master your desires. The Stoics remind us, don't waste your energy on things outside your control. Politics, traffic, other people's opinions, these are waves you cannot stop. But you can become the rock the waves crash against, unmoved. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, wrote Marcus Aurelius. This is not indifference. It is clarity. It is knowing where to place your attention, your will, your heart. The inner citadel, a phrase often used to describe the Stoics' mental fortress, is not built in a day. It's built through practice, discipline, and awareness. Begin with small things. Pause before reacting. Question your assumptions. Choose stillness over noise. Each moment of restraint is a brick in that fortress. Each moment of clarity, a window to the soul. With time, you become harder to offend, harder to manipulate, harder to shake. You don't need the world to change, you change your relationship to it. And that, the Stoics would say, is true power. Let us shift from inner mastery to how we relate to others, for Stoicism is not a solitary path, but a guide to wise and compassionate living among others. One of the great truths the Stoics understood is that we are all connected, not by blood, perhaps, but by reason, by virtue, by a shared human experience. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what injures the hive, injures the bee. This means, we are part of something larger. To hurt others is to hurt ourselves. To uplift others is to become lighter too. Compassion, then, is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the recognition that we all stumble, we all suffer, we all seek peace. When someone angers you, Epictetus advises, remember, he acts from the belief that he is right. This doesn't mean accepting injustice, but it does mean refusing to poison your own soul with hatred. Restraint is a form of respect for yourself and others. When you practice patience, when you extend understanding, you live in alignment with nature, Stoic nature, which seeks harmony, not chaos. And yet, boundaries matter. The Stoics were clear, don't become a doormat. Don't sacrifice your principles. Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. This is a call to curate your circle. To choose relationships that nourish, not drain. To grow together, not shrink in resentment. A Stoic doesn't isolate, they elevate. They seek truth in conversation, peace in disagreement, purpose in connection. In this way, timeless bravery becomes something more, it becomes contagious. Now, let's explore a profound Stoic reminder, the impermanence of all things, and the hidden strength we gain from that awareness. The Stoics did not shy away from death, decay, or change. Instead, they embraced it. Because they knew, what we fear the most can become our most powerful teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. This is not morbid, it's motivating. This idea is called Memento Mori, remember that you must die. And in remembering death, you remember to live. Seneca encouraged his readers to rehearse their mortality. Why? Because when you confront the inevitable, you stop wasting time. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin to live deliberately. Life is short, but not meaningless. It's not about how long you live, but how deeply you live. Stoicism teaches us to detach from the illusion of control over time. We are not owed tomorrow. We are not guaranteed another breath. So what does this mean for you, for me, for all of us? It means, say the kind word today. Begin the project now. Apologize. Forgive. Release. Create. It means to act as though this moment is enough, because it is. When you live with death in mind, you become more alive. You savor more. You fear less. You become unshakable because what is temporary cannot own you. This is the Stoic path. Not denial. Not despair, but awakened presence. The new dawn is not just something that happens in the sky. It happens in you each time you remember how precious this fleeting life really is. Let's now reflect on the concept of discipline, a quiet pillar of Stoicism that supports every other virtue. To the Stoic, discipline isn't a punishment. It's liberation. Discipline over the self is the gateway to peace, freedom, and clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." We live in a world where distractions clamor for our attention. Discipline cuts through the noise. Each day, you face a choice between what feels good now and what serves you long term. Discipline says, delay gratification. Discipline says, show up even when motivation is gone. Discipline says, stay the course when your mind seeks escape. The Stoics practiced discipline in thought, speech, and action. They held themselves to a high standard, not for praise, but for peace. Epictetus instructed his students, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This is where transformation happens. Not in grand declarations, but in small, daily acts. When you wake early to write. When you say no to temptation. When you stick to your principles under pressure. Each act of discipline is a seed of greatness. A declaration that you refuse to be ruled by impulse, fear, or laziness. In this, we find timeless bravery once more. For the disciplined person does not wait for a storm to pass. They build a shelter within. They say, I will not betray myself. I will live with intention. I will rise, even if I fall 1,000 times. This is the way of the Stoic. This is the dawn that awaits those who are willing to choose the harder path. And now, we come to one of the most underrated Stoic practices, reflection. The art of looking inward, not with judgment, but with honesty. Every night, before sleep, Seneca would review his day. He'd ask himself, what did I do well? Where did I falter? What could I do better tomorrow? This was not an exercise in self-criticism, it was a practice in growth. To reflect is to pause the momentum of life and examine its trajectory. It is to ask, am I living according to my values? Or am I being carried by habits I've outgrown? In a world obsessed with progress, reflection is rebellion. It says, I will not just move, I will move wisely. Marcus Aurelius filled pages of his personal journal with thoughts no one was meant to read. He wasn't writing for applause. He was writing for alignment. His meditations were not a book, they were a mirror. What if, at the end of each day, you took a few moments to return to yourself? To sit in stillness. To notice where you acted with courage and where you fell short. To observe your emotions, not suppress them, but understand them. This kind of awareness builds integrity. It brings coherence between what you believe and how you behave. And over time, that quiet reflection becomes something more than a routine, it becomes your compass. When storms rise, you return to it. When you lose your way, it points you back to center. Reflection is not about being perfect. It's about being present with your imperfection. Seeing it. Understanding it. Growing from it. So ask yourself tonight, did I speak with kindness? Did I resist what is beyond my control? Did I take even one step toward the person I want to become? And if the answer is no, that's okay. You have tomorrow. A new dawn always awaits the honest. The Stoic path is not a straight line. It is a spiral rising through effort, through setbacks, through reflection. And in the stillness of those moments, when the world is quiet and you are alone with your thoughts, that is where real transformation begins. There's one more Stoic truth we must explore: the art of letting go. We are all burdened by something. Expectations, regrets, grudges. These invisible weights hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Letting go is not giving up. It's giving yourself space to grow. Let go of perfection, it does not exist. Let go of the need for everyone's approval, it is a cage. Let go of the past, it cannot be changed. What remains is clarity, lightness, possibility. The Stoics were masters of detachment not because they didn't care, but because they knew clinging to the unchangeable creates suffering. Seneca wrote, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." To move forward, we must release what no longer serves us, even if it once gave us comfort. Letting go may mean walking away from old identities, toxic environments, or familiar routines. It may mean embracing silence where there was once noise. It may mean choosing peace over pride. This is not weakness. This is immense strength. Because when you empty your hands, you can finally grasp something new. You can hold wisdom. You can hold presence. You can hold a new dawn. And now, we return to where we began, the sunrise. Not just as a symbol, but as a truth. A Stoic truth. Every morning, the sun returns not because we asked it to, but because that is its nature. And so it is with courage. With renewal. With resilience. The Stoics understood that no matter how many times you fall, you are not broken, you are beginning again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When jarred, unavoidably, by circumstance, revert at once to yourself, and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of the harmony if you keep going back to it. You will be shaken, but you can return. You will be distracted, but you can come back to center. This rhythm is your responsibility. No one else will find it for you." The Stoic life is not about escaping the world, it's about engaging with it, wisely and bravely. It's about rising with humility, meeting hardship with honor, and greeting each new day not as a chore but as a sacred opportunity. A Stoic does not wait to be saved. A Stoic does not wait for the perfect moment. A Stoic becomes the moment, steady, clear, and ready. A new dawn is not only about what begins, but about what you choose to bring into it. Will you bring fear? Or will you bring virtue? Will you carry your past? Or will you step forward, lighter, bolder, freer? In this final stretch of reflection, let us contemplate perhaps the greatest Stoic lesson of all, that the ultimate power lies within you. No philosopher, no teacher, no voice, not even the words you hear now can walk the path for you. You must take the steps. You must bear the storms. You must build your own philosophy, one choice at a time. That is the Stoic way. But you are not alone. Every step you take with integrity echoes those who came before. You stand with Marcus in his candlelit study, with Epictetus in his humble classroom, with Seneca on the edge of his mortality still writing, still guiding. You stand in their light and carry it forward. Because a Stoic doesn't seek applause. They seek alignment. They don't chase comfort. They create meaning. They don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What now?" And when the sun rises again tomorrow, as it will, you get to answer that question anew. This is the invitation of every day. This is the quiet call of courage. This is the path of transformation. So here we are at the end and the beginning. We have walked together through the teachings of the ancient Stoics, through hardship, through hope, through the fire of self-discovery. And now, the question is no longer, what is Stoicism? It is, what will you do with it? Will you reflect? Will you resist what does not serve you? Will you rise again, and again, and again? The Stoics didn't promise ease. They promised strength. Not a strength born of dominance but of self-mastery. Not the roar of certainty but the calm of conviction. The dawn does not shout, it simply arrives. And so can you. You don't need more time. You need a turning point. You don't need to wait. You need to wake up. And you don't need to be fearless, you only need to be faithful to your better self. Let that be enough. Let this be your moment. A new dawn awaits. And you are ready.